Here are 15 of the best Ask Reddit stories for today. I hope you enjoy and remember to subscribe. It really helps us out. We post new videos every day.
What is the best lie you have ever told your child? Best lie I've ever told kids? Easy. And I still use it for noisy ones. Some kids in our old apartment complex were yelling and screaming, playing chase, whatever. I came downstairs and said, "So, you kids don't really care about using up your screams, do you?" "What?" they asked. Curious. So I sat down and told them, well, in your lifetime, you only get a few hundred screams. If you use them all up as a child, you'll never ever be able to scream again. Not even if a monster was chasing you. To their incredulous comments, I said I learned the hard way. Listen. And opened my mouth, and pantomimed a loud scream, really threw my heart into it. Not a single sound came out. Their eyes went huge and they all looked rather scared. It's okay, you can scream when you need to. But don't use them all up, I cautioned. Ah, blissful peace. Wingman of Reddit, what crazy things have you done to get your friend laid? My friend was sleeping over at my house. My parents and brother were all sleeping upstairs while we were downstairs watching TV, playing video games and stuff. At around 1 a.m. he asks if this girl can come over. He really wants to get with this girl, and I don't want to turn him down, so I reluctantly agree, on the condition that she's quiet. The three of us are hanging out and I make some excuse to leave the room so my friend can have some alone time with this girl. I'm upstairs in my room when I start hearing loud moans. This is bad news for me, but great news for my friend. He's losing his V-card to a girl he really likes. I hear stirring in the next room and I know that their bout of loud lovemaking has woken my parents. The last thing I want is for my confused father to walk in on my friend jackhammering this girl in my basement. What do? I go to the P-Hub, click on the first video I see, crank that volume to 100 on my speakers and let it play for the 3 minutes that my buddy ended up lasting. My dad ended up coming into my room, discovering the source of the noise. I even threw in some fapping motion under the covers, and awkwardly leaving. My buddy ended up having the best effing time ever, bro, but Jesus, there were some awkward glances exchanged between my parents and I the next morning. My husband just fat-shamed our daughter and I'm beyond livid. This happened earlier. We were sitting eating dinner, then my 13-year-old daughter got up from her seat and made her way to one of the top cabinets to grab a plate. She couldn't reach the cabinet and complained about it. My husband said, "Well, you couldn't reach the cabinet because you're fat." My daughter was stunned. I mean, he did make comments about her putting on weight lately but never outright called her fat. She said, "What does height has to do with weight?" He said, "The fatter you are the shorter you get. You've put on some serious amount of weight and should really do something about it before it's too late." This set me off. Our daughter rushed out crying and refused to finish her dinner. He was like, "Well, that's a start." When I told him, he caused her to miss dinner. We had a huge fight and he accused me of coddling her rather than actually looking after her the way he does. She's in her room right now and is still crying from what he said. I'm beyond livid. I am so mad because I don't want her to think that her worth is in her weight or physical appearance. I hate how he basically put her self-esteem down and made her cry.
What is the most savage insult you've heard while playing a video game? Even Noah and his ark can't carry these animals. I bet your bathroom floor smells like piss with the aim you have. The only action you get is when your finger slips through the toilet paper. I hope you're better at being a dad than you are at this game, old man. Still hurts to this day. You're the reason that I'm pro-choice. LOL is fun. I don't remember the exact wording, but overheard a mother telling her kid to get off now. I told you 15 minutes ago to get off. Your team is losing now because you suck and played another game. Your teammate must be a garbage man because he's great at carrying trash. I'd say your aim is cancer, but cancer actually kills people.
What was the I'm done moment in your last relationship? We had a fight about her sleeping over at her ex's house. She insisted it wasn't a big deal. When I asked her how she would feel if I had a sleepover with my ex, she said it was different. I said, yeah, we didn't live together and weren't engaged. You were? She then said if I didn't trust her to have sleepovers with other men then it was my problem to figure out. Once she said that, I did the dash. I left and told her stuff at my house would be outside, come get it before it garbage day or it was going in the can. It was her problem to figure out. Of Reddit, what's a thing that can be scary about being a man? When I was a teenage boy, my sister fell into a river. My dad put his hand on my back and pushed me in after her, saying go get her. Her leg was stuck on something but I got it free and she swam back to shore. I, however, was pinned by branches under the water that had somehow gotten around me. I remember looking up to the water's surface and seeing the silhouettes of my family members walk away from the edge and thinking no, wait. Long story short, my fight or flight system kicked in and I scrambled as hard as I could to free myself and eventually got free and came up to take the best breath ever. When I was crawling back on the sand, my dad, sister and brother were about 100 yards down the bank. He turned and said, "Come on." And I hurried after while gagging on water. That about sums up my experience so far. People just expect you to be okay in obviously dangerous situations. I knew guys who drank themselves to death because liquor is easy but saying I need help is hard.
What is the smartest thing you've ever done? Back when I used to smoke weed as a teenager, I did it in the kitchen. My parents were gone for the day, so I thought it would be fine. I could just air it out the whole day. Well, I get a call from them that they would be back in about 20 minutes. I got all the fans I could, but that didn't work at all. With 10 minutes left I had to think, what could I do? The best idea I've ever had happened. I took out a bag of popcorn and then put it in the microwave and burnt that shit, The whole house smelled like burnt popcorn now instead of weed, which is nice because that would then explain why I had all the fans and the windows and doors open.
The asshole for not buying new feminine hygiene products in the middle of the night. I am 34, have a 10-year-old daughter. I have joint custody with my ex. I have been with my current girlfriend F28 for 1 year. Last night my girlfriend was spending the night at my place. I have my daughter this weekend. My daughter came into my room around midnight crying and saying she started her period. She had bled all over her sheets and was mortified. My girlfriend sprang into action because my daughter was embarrassed to talk to me about it because I'm her dad. My girlfriend asked me to drive to the store to buy pads for my daughter. My girlfriend keeps a box of tampons at my place, so I asked why my daughter couldn't use those for now and then we could go to the store in the morning. My girlfriend got pissed and said they wouldn't work because it's intimidating to use tampons, especially this type when you first start your period. The tampon brand was OB, if that is relevant. She said I was being insensitive and that as a man, I couldn't understand. I told her I wasn't driving in the middle of the night to get the right kind of feminine hygiene product when there was already some in the house. My girlfriend ended up leaving and getting them herself. This morning my girlfriend made sure my daughter was set and then left and has hardly spoken to me. She's insisted I was an ass. My daughter is still embarrassed and has barely left her room all day. Am I the asshole?
Broke up with my girlfriend because they're trans. I was going to post this on Am I the A-hole, but I guess already know I'm the A-hole here. I, female 19, am a lesbian. I had been dating my girlfriend who identified as non-binary, she and they, and I was, of course, okay with it. I loved them more than anything. It was a wonderful relationship. Growing up I've had a lot of gender struggles myself. At this point I guess I identify as cis, because I don't even know what I am and I don't want to disgrace the trans community by labeling myself as anything. So I guess in a way I do understand the concept of being a gender other than cis, and I supported my girlfriend, who was okay with being called such, even being non-binary, and their gender identity was no issue with me at all. Recently my girlfriend came to me and told me they had a new set of pronouns. I asked what, and they said he and him. I was confused. I thought they were coming out as female to male, but he clarified he wasn't a man, but a he and him lesbian. I've heard of he and him lesbians on the internet but I never really understood it myself. I know pronouns don't equal gender, but it felt weird to me, and I just couldn't be with him anymore. I still love him. I tried to explain how I saw it, feeling wrong to me as a lesbian dating him, but he called me transphobic. Is he right? I don't even know anymore, but I don't know how to not be in the wrong. I feel like I've betrayed my own community by not being able to understand.
There ever been a time where a simple yes or no decision saved your life? I was 7 years old and was in Belfast with my aunt getting new clothes for school. We were heading into a store called BHS, or British Home Stores. While we were walking through the door a man turned around to me and said, "Hey kids, do you want to live forever?" I replied no, and he said then take the lift. My aunt grabbed my hand, and we stepped into the elevator. When the doors closed there was this huge boom. And the doors made the weirdest noise. Then the elevator stopped. I heard all this screaming, and sirens going off, and was terrified. My aunt just held me close and said everything would be fine, and not to worry. Around 2-3 hours later when the firemen managed to get the doors opened, the place was a mess. 4 bombs had been detonated inside the security gates. British Home Stores took the brunt of the blasts.
Girlfriend cheated on me, but her reasoning makes sense. Don't get me wrong, I am neither a cheater or condone cheating, but I simply understand that we humans fuck up sometimes and it's how we react after that our real character shows up. She was on a vacation when this happened, but to her credit she immediately called me the next morning and cut her vacation short to come back. We had a long conversation ranging everything from if she is happy with a monogamous relationship, to if it was consensual and what steps will she take for it to never happen again. Basically, what happened was that she was enjoying drinks at the hotel bar when the guy sat beside her. He started flirting with her and she liked the ego boost and validation. So she continued talking and having drinks with him. Ultimately he asked her to come back to his room and she accepted. It hurt to hear, but at least she was totally honest and didn't shirk responsibility for her actions. So I asked her how will she stop it from happening again. She said that her immediate plan is to limit her drinking to 1 peg unless she is with someone she trusts, and she has also started therapy to better understand her need for validation from others. Also being drunk played a part, as I firmly believe that if she was sober she would never have done it. I once tried to jump off the roof of a 8-story building while drunk, as I was convinced the fall won't hurt me. But I am surprised that I am not more angry or upset. My own reaction is a mystery to me. Reddit, any idea what's going on with me?
What's a quote that permanently changed the way you look at things? A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. John Shedd. You might be the sweetest peach on the tree, but some people just don't like peaches. This helped me get over my lifelong desire to be liked by everyone, and allowed me to focus on becoming someone I actually liked. That mountain you've been carrying, you were only supposed to climb, really helped me overcome a lot of traumatic experiences and difficult chapters in my life. I hope it helps someone else out there. The axe forgets, the tree remembers. Zimbabwean proverb. People don't forget how they were treated, that's why it's so important to be kind. Long time ago I was meeting two women on the sidewalk, and just as we passed each other I heard this one sentence from one of them. You don't notice your progress in life because you are always raising the bar. They've promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams, too. Oscar Wilde.
What screams I'm educated, but not very bright. I know someone. She has studied all her life. She has a PhD and speaks 4 languages fluently. She went up to a group of dangerous-looking skinheads who were defiantly smoking on a train carriage, and she angrily scolded them. They didn't want to hurt a woman, so they punched her husband instead. That's a lesson I learned very early in life. A lot of the time as a woman, if you mouth off to men and you're with a man, that man is going to get it.
To some very comforting facts. Crows will let other crows know if you're a good person. Feeding a crow in your backyard can quickly become many crows over time since the rumor spreads. And nearby crows in your area will know you as one they like. They can also be known to be protective of you and even bring you gifts. Suffice to say, crows are one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet, and they are truly underrated. Saw a documentary about a guy who fed the crows who visited his backyard. The crows actually befriended the guy's pet cat, and the cat enjoyed playing with the crows. One day the cat, who spent part of every day outside, did not come home. Later the guy discovered it had been attacked, probably by a coyote, and had been killed. Several days later, the crows found the cat's collar and brought it to the guy, leaving it in the backyard bird bath where they had often left little gifts, a toy car, a child's beret, etc., for the guy. He wept telling that story, and I wept hearing it.
Predators, what's an unknown fact that could save your life? Unmoving tornado? It's coming towards you. Think you're being followed? Make 4 right turns. Still behind you? Following you? Don't go home. Go to the police station. Held at gunpoint/knife point and told to go somewhere? Don't go. You're more likely to be found where you are than to the location you're being taken and make a scene too. White fuzzy spot on your banana? Don't eat it. Spider infestation. In the woods and nothing to eat? Dandelions, the yellow ones, are fully edible. Carjacker? Crash the car, then you're useless, under rubble? Grab an object and tap in intervals of 3, wait 10 seconds, tap 3 times again, and so on. Fall on tracks at a subway? There's a crawl space under the platform, go there until you get help. Don't know the emergency number? Call 112, it's a worldwide emergency number.
I faked my resume and it changed my life. Sounds silly, but for the first time in my life I'm actually happy. I'm so happy that I've been waking up early for work with no alarm. I had struggled for years after graduation trying to find a job, ended up just bouncing around between dead-end jobs, legitimately struggling to pay for groceries. My parents had to help me pay for things like my car registration, fixing flat tires, etc. I decided to fake my resume, and within like 2 weeks I landed a really good job in IT. I'm making more money than I ever imagined, and it's all remote. I faked everything except for my degree and certifications. I found a couple defunct companies in my county's business database to use as my work experience, faked my GPA, faked my internships and volunteer work, etc. I then tailored each resume by rewording the job responsibilities from specific listings. I don't know who else to tell, haha. I'm just so happy and excited.